in American style, Latrobe turned to the past, basing his architecture on Greek temples and some European, especially English, precedents. His architecture borrowed and imitated, and yet in the process of assimilation he found an expression that was uniquely his. Besides this professional tension of making a new style from the old, his personal story is a tale of his inability in a land of opportunity to resist financial gambles. If America never quite understood him, he, on the other hand, never fathomed its economic culture. Latrobe was not alone in his financial difficulties. His years in the United States coincided with the time of risk-taking unleashed by the Revolution. Americans had not only overthrown a political system, they had freed themselves from the constraints of British mercantilism. Latrobe lived in urban centers where talk of investment in everything from land to currency was constantly in the air. After his second marriage, he became part of a mercantile family whose overseas trading had made them wealthy. Latrobe joined in their speculations and often lost money. 32-year-old Latrobe arrived in Virginia in 1796, and within months was dining with President George Washington, whose Mount Vernon home he likened in size and distinction to no more than that of an English clerk's. But that was the point in a fledgling democracy, where novel conceptions of political representation, shared power, and executive restraint had fired the American Revolution. This charming, handsome, 6'3" newcomer moved easily among the officials and landowners of eastern Virginia. Soon he was engaged in designing and building his first public commission, Virginia's penitentiary, along with a few private homes and a church in Richmond. To his brother, Christian Ignatius, he acknowledged his rapid professional progress. But Latrobe also explained in a rare moment of self-deprecation that he had left England because he might never have gotten ahead in London, given its many talented architects. Perhaps not, but he had also left England because his beloved wife had died in childbirth, and because his creditors had initiated bankruptcy proceedings against him. Self-fashioning in a new nation based on the sovereignty of the people did not come easily, given Latrobe's erroneous but unshakable belief in the family legend that he was an aristocrat descended from Count Bonneval of Limousin, France. He had further increased a sense of his distinction by excelling at the Moravian schools intended to prepare him for the ministry. He traded the ministry's anonymity for a fictitious claim to nobility. Latrobe carried with him to America eclectic interests that ranged from natural history to music. Along with his professional commitment to building not just an architect, but an engineer intent on improving transportation, he wrote stories in his journal, engaged in philosophical discourses, studied insects, and developed new solutions for mathematical conundrums. Ever a supporter of innovation, he used a polygraph that duplicated his letters, over 9,000 of which exist. Latrobe was the very definition of the modern polymath. He was as well the embodiment of the 18th century philosophical movement called the Enlightenment, that displaced older values with new ideas based on reason and evidence. Yet even as Latrobe sought to begin anew as a widower, far from his creditors, he retained convictions and personal traits that harnessed him to the past and collided with popular attitudes in the United States. Although Latrobe supported Jefferson's Democratic-Republican political party, he could never slough off, nor did he try to hide, his sense of superiority. He remained a snob in a land of idealized equality. It was one of several conflicts. After 4 years in Virginia, Latrobe moved to America's political and